Well, so now what we're going to do is create a purchase order for the bifold doors that we created in the previous exercise. So let's go back to the information. So it's a purchase order. And this one is from Andre, Andre. It doesn't look like I've got this one in on the vendors yet. It was probably in a previous exercise. I'll see what I can find in the vendor transactions and put it in for you. But so right now it's going to be a setup, and let me go see what it needs to be. Okay, I found the where we entered the vendor. It would have been on page 85. So if you'd followed along, if I followed along step by step, it would have already been in there. But I will enter it now and get us back on. Okay, in order to get this one correct, it was necessary to enter all this information. And I just wanted to show you, it's here on page 85, but this is all different aspects of information regarding this vendor. Now let me come back over to the information and let's talk about it a little bit. In his account settings, he doesn't have anything, but his tax settings, we have his tax ID and he's eligible for a 1099. That means that in January of the following year, we're going to have to send a 1099 to him and to the IRS. So you want to make sure that you're tracking that information and doing it correctly. Now, this is his information as far as what he does and his phone number and those kinds of things. And then we have the payment settings where these are his terms, not our terms on the net 15. So that gives you some kind of an idea how this one is all set up. And let's make sure that date was correct. I believe it is. I don't see where I'm getting that one incorrect, but I'll go on now. Okay, so all of his data has been entered and I'm ready to enter his. Now the purchase order information is on page 98. And if we look here, the date is supposed to be the 20th. And the purchase order, it doesn't say, doesn't give a purchase order number, but it would be just sequentially. So let's just go with that. And the item he's purchasing is the bifold doors. And I just need to make sure that I got the right item. Right there is what I'm purchasing for him. And I need, how many? 6. So I'm going to put in 6 bifold doors. And do I enter a customer it's for? No, not right now. We're not entering customer. If you enter a customer, that customer would be charged for those doors, or those doors are reserved for that customer, and so and that's a possibility as well. But once I order this, let's go back and look at the item list for. So I'm going to close this and ignore the spelling, and come back to lists, and let's look at bifold doors now. So now if I look at the bifold interior doors, I have 2 still, but I have a purchase order of 6. And so, and that gives me an idea of what's happening with the bifold doors. Okay, so I'll come back and go to the next part of the process. So of course the textbook has you going through a few more transactions before you start receiving the inventory. So make sure you follow and do all of those transactions as well. I just want to show you the basic tracking, how it's going to happen. So if I go here to inventory, and you have the option of receiving inventory with a bill or without a bill. This particular one is supposed to be without a bill. And we're going to pull up Andre again, and it'll show you the purchase order, and we just have to click on it. And this is where it can get tricky, is you may not receive everything that's on the purchase order. Let's see. Aha. So in this one you don't. See, it says I ordered 6, but I only received 5 of the 6. So that means the remainder is on back order or something's happening with it. So I've got the order set up on the receipt, and oh, I want to I want to add some freight to this. So I'm going to come over to expenses and add freight. So that was the 5420 545 545.2. Okay, there it is, freight and delivery. And the freight and delivery amount was $35. And what I need to do now is to recalculate. Okay, and I can just put in and I'm not charging it to the customer again. And where would I look? You're looking here if you're going to charge this to the customer, but you're not. So we're now going to do a save and close. But the book is, the textbook is telling you to select the transaction journal so you can take a peek at it. So if you come here and take a peek at the transaction journal, okay, I want to save it. You must first select an existing transaction. I guess I have to save and close. I should have done a save and, well, I'll come back here. I'm coming back to Andre and looking back at my purchase order, or item receipt is what I'm doing. And here I am. And I've got my expenses, I've got my items that I've received, and now I can look at the transaction journal since it's been saved. And it's giving you a full summary in the journal of what accounts each thing came from. And that's what you really want to record in your memory banks, is that QuickBooks is doing this all behind the scenes. So you have to think of that huge spreadsheet that you normally use, and it's putting it in the columns for you. So and it's putting them in the correct location. All right, so let's go on to the next part of the process. Now, if you remember correctly, we received that inventory when we did without a bill. This time we're going to enter a bill against inventory because we already received the inventory, and I can pull the Andre. There it is. And there, see, it says bill to follow, but when I click on OK, that just generated the bill. So let's go back and look. I'm here and I've got my item receipt and all of the information. And if I come over to my bills, I should have a bill there for Andre. Must have done something wrong in my transaction. Let me try again. Enter bills against inventory. Let's pull Andre. A-N. Here. There it is. Item receipt date for the bill date. Okay, so this generated that item receipt. And now what you need to do is save and close. Now if I come back and I look at this, I have an item receipt and it should show up in the bill. Let's come back and look and pay bills. And we'll look. What did I do? Goofy. Let's try again. The only thing I can think of is I didn't hit the save and close button. So let's go back. Yes. Now go to my pay bills. La da da, there it is. Okay, goes to show you, you got to double check everything. And we've got it now. And if I come back and check my vendor center for them, I have a purchase order and a bill, not just an and just an item receipt. Okay, that is the beginning, and let's go on to the next step.